Hello trainers, welcome to the lab and welcome to another episode of U Versus. That's right, today I have another Wi-Fi battle, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire match for you, this time between Katie and Joey, but this is not only a regular Wi-Fi match as per usual. For this little bit of time we have a GBA match coming up for you guys right now. This time we have the owner of the Seattle Seadras being Katie and Joey being the owner of the Greenbay Pikachus. Looking at their teams, we have a Thunderous, a Pinsir, Hitmonchan, Lilligant, Empoleon, and Landorus T on the Seattle Seadra side, and we have a Ninjask, a Exeggutor, Slowbro, Kingler, Ditto, and Cradilly on the Greenbay Pikachu side. So without further ado, let's get this battle started because I'm really gonna enjoy this match. I hope so. I know both of these guys are pretty good. I know Katie especially. Katie's actual in-game name is different from the real name, but I will not reveal that just because I don't want to get in trouble with anyone in the GBA. As we do see that we have the Thunderous, not Tornadus, the Thunderous Eye and the Ninjask leading off on both sides. We see Thunderous go for the taunt, but unfortunately the first turn was protected with the Ninjask did protect first turn and got the speed boost. Decides to withdraw that Ninjask as the Cradilly does decide to come in. Nice and shiny Cradilly. Loving these shinies, but everybody's got them, and it's not fair. I don't have any. As the Thunderous does go for the taunt onto the Cradilly, and then goes for the Volt Switch, just to try and keep the momentum up. Now that Cradilly cannot set up any sort of, like, if it wants to set up seeds or curses or anything like that, it can't do that. So, I don't know what Cradilly normally runs, but it's definitely not going to be able to do that. As it does go for the Giga Drain this turn, hit the Hitmonchan very nicely. But luckily for Hitmonchan, I believe it is defensive, pretty defensive, I'm pretty sure. And we're going to see some leftovers recovery onto that Cradilly, as it does decide to switch out, not fearing the fighting type move probably coming in, or nice type move, who knows. As Ninjask does come back in, and the Hitmonchan actually does go for the Drain Punch to get almost all of its HP back from the Cradilly, but unfortunately the Ninjask is now in, and it is still getting a decent chunk of its HP back, which it didn't need too much. The substitute does come through from the Ninjask, and we do see that Hitmonchan goes for the Ice Punch to break sub, which is really, really good for the Seattle Seadra side. Keeping up their momentum, keeping up the pressure, just trying to make sure that they can't set up. We have the speed boost coming through again on the Ninjask as the Hitmonchan does decide to pull out here and go into, I don't know Japanese, to the Thunderous, not Tornadus, Thunderous. Shiny Thunderous too, I believe. And the Ninjask is going to be going for another substitute, as this Thunderous is probably going to be going for another taunt to prevent any sort of setup, potential baton passing stuff. As it does go for the Protect this turn to get yet another speed boost. And the taunt does come through, well, does try to come through, but unfortunately it doesn't go through Protect. The taunt does come through this time, being able to Prankster, which is giving priority to non-status moves such as Taunt and Thunder Wave. And now this Ninjask cannot baton pass out. And now because Ninjask has no moves, it is just left to struggle and just do damage to this Thunderous, but doing more damage to itself. So it's able to get 2 hits off, at least from the struggle, which isn't too bad, but still not gonna be enough to get through this, to get through and really hurt this Thunderous. As it does, the Thunderous does lose HP, so I believe it is Life Orb with that Thunderbolt. And because Ninjask has no moves left, due to it not having any moves, at least attacking moves, the struggle is going to take it down. So there's 1 KO right there, as Thunderbolt does fail because there is no target there. We have 3 faces, 1 palm. That's a good nickname for an Exeggutor. Shiny Exeggutor, Jesus, all these shinies. As the Volt Switch does come through and do a decent chunk of damage. That's about a 4th damage right there, 25%, very nice. While that Thunderous is going back to Katie, going into Lilith, the Lilligant, there we go, again, shiny, just shinies across the board. What is this nonsense? As the Psychic does come through onto the Lilligant, doing a ton of damage actually. Maybe we'll see a Bug Buzz come through off this Lilligant to see if, ooh, nope, we got the Hidden Power. Is that a Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Fire? What do we got going on here? Regardless, it's a powerful Hidden Power, just to bring it down all the way down to its berry, its Pataya Berry, which I believe saw it increase its special attack. And now the Lilith is unfortunately down, so there's 2 down, 1 down on the Seadra side. The Landorus does decide to come out this time around, getting the Intimidate off of a special attacker, so it's not doing too much, but it is going to be able to do it some damage right here. As he does decide, the Greenbay Pikachus do decide to withdraw their Exeggutor right now and go into Jonathan, the Slowbro, as Landorus just decides to U-turn out, doing a decent chunk of damage, about 25% again, so a lot of 25% here, but luckily Slowbro has Regenerator, so it's not doing too much, and goes back into Thunderous. Ooh, so now that Slowbro's in a bit of a predicament, as he does decide to withdraw Jonathan, because not wanting to take a Thunderbolt, goes into Cradilly yet again. So it's going to be able to do a decent amount, as the Volt Switch U-turn core does do very well on this team right now, predicting the switches and going for the momentum, just really trying to hold its own. The Thunderous does decide to go into Pinsir here. If we see Mega Pinsir and it go for any sort of move, that Cradilly is probably as good as gone, especially with an Earthquake or even Swords Dance we could see. So the Pinsir does decide to go for a Mega Evolution, which means that it does gain the ability Aerialate, which does change the normal type moves into flying type moves and gives them a bit of a boost, as the Pinsir does decide to go for a Substitute. Interesting set to say the least, as the Cradilly does decide to go for Stealth Rocks to set up on the opponent's side of the field, which is good for any more of those switches that just keep coming and coming. There's a lot of immunity to ground here, so especially now that this Pinsir is Mega Evolved. But this Pinsir being behind a Substitute is scary, as Pub Pinsir is coming through. It's nice and shiny. I actually really like shiny Kingler. And the Pinsir is going for the Swords Dance to get to the +2, as Return is going to come through, and I'm going to assume knock out. Nope, just do a ton of damage to this Kingler, as the Crab Hammer does come through, and I'm going to assume break the Substitute right here. Pinsir Substitute is no longer, unfortunately, as the Quick Attack does come through and do a ton of damage, being able to knock out. Ooh, if the Quick Attack did that much damage, that the Pinsir must not love Jay that much, unfortunately. We have Ditto coming out here, which does decide to transform into this Mega Pinsir, therefore copying the speed boost that's out here already. Not the speed boost, I'm sorry, the attack boost, the +2 attack boost already, as the Landorus does decide to switch in to take any sort of Aerialate boosted move that is now out here. I believe the ability is copied as well, as the Intimidate does drop it down to a +1, and the Quick Attack is going to be coming through onto the Landorus, and doing it still a lot of damage considering. Landorus does decide to switch out and go into Empoleon here. So a nice little physical wall, I'm hoping, right here, because they're going to need it on the Seadra side to take any sort of hits from this Ditto-copied Pinsir, as the Aerialate Quick Attack is not going to be doing a lot, doing about an eighth of damage, but with the Leftovers recovery, bringing it to about a 12th damage, I'm assuming. Ditto, the Pinsir, does decide to pull out, and Jonathan is coming back into the game, we see. So we got another wall off right here, but Empoleon does decide to set up Stealth Rocks, which is really good, which is going to help prevent the switches from coming out as often. But a good player will still switch through Stealth Rocks and try to get them away, because it won't bother them too much. They can work around it. The Mega Evolution from the Jonathan does come off, and we do see Mega Slowbro. That is very nice. Mega Slowbro is I love this Mega. I think it's so funny. It's so, I just love it. And it does go for the Calm Mind here to set up its dual walling abilities, which is really cool and really nice. The Empoleon does decide to go for the Roar, not wanting to see this Slowbro just set up. And the 3 faces, 1 palm does come in and go down to Stealth Rocks. Unfortunately so. So a very nice combination there with the Stealth Rocks and Roar, being able to, and it just did what it was supposed to do right here, which was get rid of that Exeggutor. So I'm hoping that's what he was hoping for, or at least thinking that's what he was hoping for, as that Cradilly does decide to come in and take some Stealth Rock damage right here. But the Giga Drain is feared, I believe, on the Seadra side, which he does decide to stay in, and it doesn't do that much, so I'm assuming he wasn't really fearing it too much. Do we see a Focus Blast come from this Empoleon? No, we just see a Roar. We're going to see him rotate through all the Pokemon with that Roar, just to achieve more and more Stealth Rocks damage. Does this Empoleon have Flash Cannon or Hydro Pump? Maybe even Scald? We'll see eventually, hopefully. But this Jonathan is now back out. The Mega Slowbro is now out onto the field again, taking some Stealth Rocks damage, and because the Regenerator is now gone, we don't have that. But we do see that Defog is coming off, so the Stealth Rocks are now done. I'm assuming that he only needed the Stealth Rocks for that, but he does have his Rocker still on the field, as Jonathan does decide to go for the Fire Blast onto this Water Steel type, which is going to be doing neutral damage right here, and doing about, bringing it down to about half HP, which is pretty good, but still not enough, because the Empoleon is still going to be able to set up Stealth Rocks very safely, especially because it has the Leftovers Recovery, as the Fire Blast is going to be coming through again, and thankfully connects for the Greenbay Pikachu side. And it does do a lot. We're not seeing a burn here, which could be useful for the Pikachu side. But we do see Leftovers keep coming back, and we do see the Scald. Are we going to see a burn come from the Scald, potentially? Oh, unfortunately on Jonathan, we have a Scald, but we do have the Fire Blast coming through again, which I believe can potentially knock out this Empoleon, but bringing it down to 10 HP. Another Fire Blast will KO this Empoleon, but I believe Empoleon has now done its job and has gotten rid of its side of the field of Stealth Rocks, and has also set up its own layer of Stealth Rocks. As the Scald does come through again, and it also burned this Mega Slowbro, which is going to be dealing more and more damage each turn. Luckily that the Slowbro has Slack Off, so there's always that, which is really good because you can just prepare for the next Pokemon that comes in, because the Scalds aren't doing too much to this Mega Slowbro. He can even potentially go for a Calm Mind, set it up, go for Slack Off again, but unfortunately not. He does decide to switch into Cradily again just to take another Scald, but he's also risking a potential burn on this Cradily, but it is a special attacker, so it shouldn't worry about it too much. Ooh, the Storm Drain is now here, and the special attack is now risen because of it, so that's what he was predicting right there. Very safe play, very strong play right there on the Greenbay Pikachu side. The Empoleon's still out here, though, just trying to get knocked out, I'm assuming. But Empoleon does decide to switch out this turn because it doesn't want to take a boosted Giga Drain, as Hitmonchan does come back in to eat up any sort of hit that's coming through. But the Stealth Rock is now back onto this side of the field, and he will be able to go for a Drain Punch freely this turn, not fearing anything really to take the hit as well. So we do have Cradily decide to switch out right here, just as I was assuming so, because it's not going to want to take a Drain Punch from this Hitmonchan. He needs that Cradily still to deal with some of these Pokemon and even keep hazards up. As long as that Empoleon's still alive, that Cradily needs to be alive. The Rapid Spin from the Hitmonchan. Interesting, nice little egg move there coming through. And getting rid of the Stealth Rock. So there's a Defogger and a Rapid Spinner on this side of the field. And he does decide to go for a Drain Punch, which is interesting enough. I would never expect to see that play. Perhaps a Thunder Punch, but we do see Mega Slowbro going for the Slack Off. So it's not doing too much. A Psyshock will bring it down, this Hitmonchan down to a lot, but I assumed he was probably he predicted that Slack Off to come through. Hitmonchan does decide to switch out here, go back to its trainer on the Seattle Seadra side, hit the benches, and the Mega Pinsir does decide to come back out again, as the Calm Mind, a powerful Calm Mind comes from this Slowbro. So we have a battle of the Megas right now on the field, with the Slowbro, Mega Slowbro taking the burn damage and setting up a Calm Mind, as Pinsir does decide to go for a Quick Attack, and Aerial Link Quick Attack is going to be doing hardly anything to this Mon, as Pinsir dodges very nicely that Fire Blast, which is really good, and does decide to set up a Sword Stance. A little bit risky considering that this Slowbro is just right here. I'm assuming he's predicting the Slack Off to come through, which was his safest play, presumably. But he did bring in this Pinsir, so I would assume that he just wanted this Pinsir to go, or he was willing to let this Pinsir go. So I would have gone for the Fire Blast just to get rid of it. But the Quick Attack does come through after it's now at +2, and it's doing now a little bit better damage. But the Fire Blast is going to connect right here and knock out this Mega Pinsir. Right, here we go. The Mega Pinsir is now down. So Mega Pinsir put in a lot of work in this match, which was really nice to see, as Jonathan is going to be taking more burn damage, and now is going to be taken out by this Landorus, assuming he doesn't decide to switch right here. The Intimidate does come down, dropping down its attack stat a little bit, as the Earthquake from Landorus does connect. Is Jonathan going to be bulky enough to land through this? And unfortunately, yeah, he does live, and he does end up going for a Slack Off to get most of that HP back. So all the work that Mega Pinsir did is now in vain, just a little bit. As we do see it taking more burn damage, and Landorus not being able to knock it out is really heavy on the Seattle Seadra side. So it does force him to switch out because he does not want to take a Scald here from the Landorus just yet, as he does decide to go for another Slack Off, bringing his HP up really well, considering the position that Jonathan is in right now. The Greenbay Pikachus are doing really well. And let's see, we got the more burn damage, we got the leftovers recovery on the Empoleon, so we're coming to a really tight end of the match right here, the last 10 turns or so. And we have the Fire Blast connecting to the Empoleon and knocking it out, so the Defogger is now down, which is great, which means Cradily doesn't necessarily need to be around anymore. The Stealth Rocks are still up on this side of the field, which is going to pressure the Seattle Seadras a lot more, but we do still have, I believe, the Rapid Spinning Hitmonchan on this side of the field, which is fearful, to say the least. Now that this Thundurus is out, we do see Cradily come back as the Jonathan does decide to switch out, and the Volt Switch does come through because he wants to get that momentum boost again. That was kind of predictable to see what he wants to go into, but he did lose 5 HP, which means that he is going to be going down to Stealth Rocks next time this Thundurus does come in. But the Landorus is now in and can safely go for an Earthquake, which is going to do a ton of damage and potentially knock out this Cradily. So let's see what's going to happen here after this recovery does come through from the Cradily. The Landorus does decide to go for Earthquake. Is it going to be able to knock out the Cradily at this range? Oh, unfortunately not, and the Giga Drain does come through, which is going to deal a lot and give... Ooh, let Landorus live on 2 HP, which means an Earthquake from this range is going to be able to knock it out. He might have just put enough special defense investment onto this Landorus to live another Giga Drain, or Cradily just didn't put enough special attack investment. We'll see. Eventually. I'll find out, maybe. We'll see. As Cradily does go down to an Earthquake from the Landorus, and Ditto is now back to copy this Landorus, and imposter this Landorus, I should say, and take the form. Here we go. We have 2 Landorus T's, my apologies, on this side of the field, and the Intimidate does come through, so the ability is copied as well, which is very nice to know. And we do have the Hitmonchan switching in and taking place from the Landorus as the knockoff does come through, which is going to be getting rid of the Assault Vest on this Hitmonchan, which is really interesting, a really interesting item for Hitmonchan, making it more specially bulky as Jonathan does come through, which means a Psyshock we can see potentially come through right here. Unless Hitmonchan has a secret Thunder Punch coming through. Let's see. We have Ice Punch instead to try and catch the Landorus that was already out. But it is not doing anything, and it cannot freeze because the burn is already intact. As Jonathan just keeps going with losing HP with that burn, which is really unfortunate. He needs a Cleric, someone with Heal Bell or something on this side of the field. Landorus does come in and land the Intimidate off onto the Slowbro as it slacks off here and gets most of its HP back. And the burn is going to come through. This Landorus is as good as down right now, with an explosion going in for the last resorting move right here. I believe that if that is a choice banded explosion, that can do a ton of damage, bringing the burn down to a lot more, forcing this Slowbro to have to go for Slack off this next turn. But he does go for Calm Mind right now, which gives him a little bit of a boost with that special attack and special defense. What I assume we have left on this side of the field is the Thundurus, and we do, I think, have the Hitmonchan still, so both of which can still potentially knock out this Slowbro, this Mega Slowbro, as Thundurus does come back in, which is really powerful. The fact that that the Seattle Seadras were able to draft both Landorus I and Thundurus is really, really strong. As the Ditto does come back in, takes some Stealth Rocks damage, and imposters itself into this Thundurus. So there's a little bit of a fearfulness there as they both have Prankster. But the Thunderbolt is coming through and doing a ton of damage, being able to knock out the impostered Thundurus, the fake Thundurus, as the Life Orb is going to knock out the real Thundurus right on this side of the field. And that leaves Hitmonchan and Mega Slowbro left. Do we see a secret Thunder Punch decide to come through from this side of the field? It could be a draw right here too. We'll never even know. We got the Stealth Rocks doing a ton of damage and Drain Punch coming through, doing enough to knock it out, and that is a clutch victory right there. I believe that is all the Mons that are out in the field right now. Mega Slowbro, the Jonathan the Mega Slowbro does go down, and Joey is now lost, and that leaves victory to the Seattle Seadras. Wow, very good battle, guys. Thank you very much, and thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed this battle very much. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And don't forget to leave your friend codes and your battle codes down in the comment section below, just because I like to get those and I can possibly get a battle from you there. Just a note of warning, or just a note of, yeah, this is a note of warning to all the GBA owners of our group. If you have not submitted your round 1 match for the GBA, please do so. If not, I will continue on and move on to the round 2 matches. I've been trying to stall out and waiting for you guys to get your stuff back. I do have a list of the teams that still need to submit their Wi-Fi battles, so let me get that really quick. So the battles I am missing are from the Washington Blazikins, the New Orleans Sandslashes, the Atlanta Fearos, the Arizona Swallows, the New England Patriots, the Miami Luminions, the Houston Toros, and the San Diego Zebstrika. So I don't know who your opponents were in this GBA match. And I already did ask the San Diego Zebstrikas, and they do not have the friend code, or the battle code for this match. So for those of you who I have listed, being the Washington Blazikins, New Orleans Sandslashes, Atlanta Fearos, Arizona Swallows, New England Patriots, Miami Luminions, and the Houston Toros, please send me the battle codes for your round 1 GBA matches if you have them. If not, I will not find a means to get them anymore, and I will move on to the round 2 matches. And please submit your round 2 matches. For those of you everyone else in the GBA, please submit your round 2 matches, because I would like to get all of those recorded too. So again, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did. And don't forget to tune in to the next time, where I'll have another Alpha Sapphire playthrough probably for you, or another GBA match for you, or maybe even something else. We'll see what happens there. But until next time, I will see you guys next time in the lab. Bye!